Good morning, everyone. We apologize for the little bit of a technical issues today. However, we are doing it for the first time live from our homes, sitting behind a desk, and this is very exciting times for us. We usually do these things from agency studio with professional cameras, professional microphones, all of that. Today, we are doing it live and from the walls of our houses. So thank you for joining us today. I can see that people are starting to figuring out the new link. A little bit of a technical issue, but hey, we are here. Already 23 people. We are having some first comments. Thank you, Brand. We are very excited having you here. Today we're gonna go through what I call the juice, the exciting stuff that Peugeot and Citroën has coming up in the next few months. We're doing this because Lucas Rosalind, who is the dealer principal at Armstrong Auckland, came up with the initiative of contacting the car club of Peugeot and Citroën and combining them together into this very first live stream. It was a very innovative idea. We were very excited about it, but at the same time, didn't know how can we present this live to you guys. And I think we got to this point after a long wait and a lot of work that came out in the background. So I'll stop talking about how excited I am to have you here and move to the next slide and start the presentation. I would like to introduce everyone that you can see in the top of your screen. So it's me talking. That's Arek, commercial manager at Peugeot and Citroën New Zealand. Then we have Josh, who is marketing executive at Armstrong Group. We have Alex, who's a product manager here at Armstrong, at Auto Distributors New Zealand. We have Liz, who's a sales manager at Armstrong Auckland. And we have Lucas Rosalind, who's a dealer principal at Armstrong. Also, we have Noah, who is a creator of the live stream, and he's the one bearing all the work. So thank you, Noah. He's our marketing manager, marketing guru. He's the man who's gonna talk to you soon.
Yeah, apologies about the technical difficulties. This is the first time we have done a live stream, and we thought we had it totally figured out, I must admit. And then for whatever reason, it wasn't working in the same way as it did in the test today, so we had to put the new link up. But by all accounts, it looks like it's working now. So fingers crossed, we'll get through the whole presentation and show you guys some cool stuff.
We have an agenda for today and stuff we're going to go through. We've done the introduction, but what I'm trying to also say that if you have any questions during the session, please leave the comments below the video and or in the live comment section. We'll answer them at the end. So that's all. We are all for you here. Noah will take us through the new brand identity for Peugeot and where the Citroën is going. Then Alex will talk about future products. I will talk how all of that is going to fit in our local environment, and we'll move to the Q&A session. Now, I will hand over to Noah.
Cool, thanks guys. I'm the marketing manager for Auto Distributors New Zealand, so Peugeot and Citroën New Zealand. Now, of course, could be said that these cars sell themselves these days. The product's amazing, but I suppose my main job is working on showing the content and the television commercials to as many people as possible. So that more people can make the great choice of buying a Peugeot and Citroën. All right, so moving on, thanks again for joining. I'm going to show you some of the important brand evolutions from Peugeot's newest iteration of their brand new identity, which came out earlier this year, and Citroën's brand evolution 2 and their new art direction, which is very bold, very Citroën. But before we look at the future and where we're going, I thought let's look at where we've come. So here's a video which is 211 years of Peugeot's illustrious history in just under 2 minutes. And for a little bit of trivia, we made this video with the voice actor from the ANZ adverts, because a couple of us heard the voice actor and we thought she sounds like really Peugeot on brand. So we pinched her from ANZ and she helped make this one of the videos she helped us make, but this was one on the history.
Wait a sec. How do you celebrate 210 years of history in only 2 minutes? You do as we've always done. You go fast. Buckle up, here we go. Introducing the people. Emile, Jules, Armand, Eugene, Ernest, Paolo, Henri, Gerard, Jean.
Je crois qu'on va vivre une grande aventure.
And the hundreds and thousands of men and women whose minds, passion, know-how, and crazy free spirit created these beauties. The weird ones. The game changers. The legends. The bachelor cars.
Égalité.
The kids' cars. The fast cars. The really fast cars.
C'est probablement la meilleure voiture du monde.
The dirt-loving ones. The sand-hugging ones. The look at me, I'm falling from a plane ones. The one everyone loves.
J'aime ton numéro.
The quiet ones. The way ahead of their time ones. And all the people who drove them with such talent. Michel.
Ça fait plaisir de reconduire cette belle voiture.
Simon. Seb. Ari. Marcus. And all the others. This is for you.
Pilote, c'est absolument stupéfiant ce qu'ils ont fait.
But did we forget our roots? All those pepper grinders? No. Those bikes? Never. The challenges, the victories? Hell no. And those incredible moustaches? How could we? More than 2 centuries later, the family is still growing more than ever. Those are 210 years spent breaking the rules. 210 years spent following these wise words of Armand. Apparently we were bold enough. Enough to even expand worldwide. And this is just the beginning.
All right. I find that really interesting, just looking back at such a long and storied history in such a short amount of time. But it makes me like the brand even more. Okay, so now let's look at the brand developments. So where this has come from is, Peugeot's always had a certain amount of avant-garde, I suppose, in its product comms. It's always stood for individuality, but moving forwards, really to launch all of the new products, which has come out of the biggest R&D expenditure periods the brand has ever undertook, and the new product that you're seeing is a result of that now, with the new iCockpit, and then moving forwards, Stellantis are undertaking another huge amount of R&D, $30 billion over the next 5 to 10 years in LEV technology and BEV. So really it's a great time for the brand, because there's never been so much spent on research and development, and we're seeing now in New Zealand an entirely new product lineup. But what the brand really needed was a new logo and a new identity, a visual code, so to speak, to help launch this product now, and also to prepare the brand for the future, which is predominantly more low emissions and more electric and more hybrid. So let's go to the next slide and see where we're going. So the new brand identity, I suppose, is aimed at being a launch pad for all the current all new product and all of the upcoming new product too. And it's much more precise. It's much more modern in its look and feel. So one of the 3 brand tenets is excellence, and this is because Peugeot is already going high end. It's going up market, and the way it wants to do that is with a focus on uncompromising quality, superior interior materials, uncompromising quality in terms of the ride and the feel, but also the approach to development. Obviously, the iCockpit, they keep reinventing it. It was a new invention in terms of a smaller wheel and seeing the dash in the position, but they want to keep reinventing this over and over again. So that's where this uncompromising quality and attention to detail comes through in the brand tenet, which is excellence. The next one is particularly French. It's allure, and I believe I can see this in quite a lot of the product design. It's distinctly sharp, it's distinctly different, and the thing that comes to mind most of all, I suppose, would be the 2008 and the 208. When I first saw the 2008, I thought, well, that's definitely alluring, but why, I'm not sure. It just looked like it was sculpted from a future kind of car template. It looked like something, from the future. And then the 208 is similar, but it's got this kind of retro, low-slung, sporty look to it. But I think you can always see that in Peugeot design. So I like it's now one of their brand tenets, allure. Moving on to the third one, it's emotion, and I think this is really cool. It's about the car representing more than just taking you from A to B, and it's about Peugeot trying to provide what they call instinctive driving experiences. And yes, this is seen in the smaller steering wheel of the iCockpit, but it's also seen in the audio, in the kind of sculpted look of the dash that envelops you, in the comfort, in the ride tuning, suspension feel, which is a nice mix between sporty and smooth and comfortable, which I don't think anyone else really does quite as well. But also in the artwork and the way the brand speaks and its tone of voice. It always keeps this focus on emotion present, and I think a lot of cars these days, the interiors kind of they do a grey rectangle and they put an iPad in the middle, whereas Peugeots, you get in them, they make you feel a little bit special. So I like the fact that they've got emotion in the brand tenets. So that brings us on to the next slide, and this is Peugeot's new brand promise, and it is to turn time into quality time. And I think that's a nice overall guide. Peugeot wants to turn just the act of driving the car, the moments, and it wants to make them more experiential and quality. All right. Moving on now, the overall positioning then with all of these refocuses is on being inventive and high end, and I think that's a great place for Peugeot to aim towards. They've always been inventive, but now they want to be more inventive, and they want to be inventive in this kind of high-end area, and I think that's a really good move, and you're seeing some really nice products come out of that, and that's how we're talking about it now. Peugeot's moving up market. And it's doing so by being inventive, and as a result, you're getting more high-end products. Okay, so yeah, moving on to the next slide. Let's look at what Peugeot is doing in the present. So this video is kind of a reflection of all of these new brand identity components coming together, and and it's a really exciting video because it's about concepts and people as much as it's about products. In fact, product kind of takes it backstage, which you rarely see in this industry, actually. So it's a great video, and it sums up the overall kind of feel, the modernized feel of Peugeot.
We are lions, and time is the land we roam. A land where we pounce on every occasion. Yes, time is our territory. Where we choose the pace, the rhythm, and the flow. Time is where we live and turn every moment into an experience. We are lions, the lions of our time.
Alright, so that's Lions of Our Time, and it's about Peugeot customers being the lions of their time because they maximize their time, kind of a play on turning time into quality time, because they've bought a product like a Peugeot. Alright, so let's look at the Citroën brand evolution now. And again, before looking at the brand, let's look at some of Citroën's roots. And we've got a short video showing some of Citroën's long and illustrious and decisively Citroën unique history. So let's roll the video before we kind of talk about the future.
So you think you're Romeo? You bang a part in a picture show. Well, take the long way home. Take the long way home. Well, lonely days turn to lonely nights. You take a trip to the city lights. Take the long way home. Take the long way home. And when you're up on stage, it's so unbelievable.
We've shared the same love for freedom for 100 years, inspired by you since 1919.
Thanks, Eric. I love that video. It's so fun, joyous. So the tagline, and I suppose at the heart of the Citroën brand, will always be its customers. So this enduring tagline remains inspired by you. Citroën want to celebrate this focus, I suppose, and the brand comms are resolutely optimistic, human, smart, and this kind of fuzzy, kind of nice and warm feeling, which Citroën always talk of, which I think is really, really cool. So moving on to the next slide, we can see that this promise of being inspired by you, the tagline, you can see in product proof points, such as the cars being the most customizable cars on the market. So you can literally make your car, inspired by you and your customization choices. And you can see this with its bold color choices as well. It's a lifestyle brand, and it's a true lifestyle brand, and this is shown as in its imagery, always including lots of people. People are the focus and come to the forefront a lot of the time in the communications and in the advertising and in the artwork. And this Citroën difference is the attention to these really small details that you might see in the customization or the interior, which Citroën really believes its customers will notice and appreciate, and so that's why it keeps the focus on being inspired by its customers and having a lot of unique details and customization. So the evolution of this, if you click to the next slide, is really the new artwork seen in this is a little sneak preview, but of the new C3 Aircross mock-up, just in the middle of on the bottom row of images there, and it's a much more design-led, bold, creative look and feel to its artwork. It doesn't look like any other ads on the market, and this extends to its all of its new product advertising, which you'll see over the coming quarter and next year. It's similarly designed, where it's very very bold, very poppy. In fact, a new oncoming artwork looks very much like Liechtenstein's pop art, which I think is a really great style that Citroën are utilising now. And I suppose the artwork will start looking as original in the marketplace as the cars do. So if we move on to the next slide, you can see the internal mantra of the Citroën brand, which extends to how it positions its product, is be different, feel good. And just as a little bit of ADNZ trivia, we recently went over a brand identity deck with France, and there was a workshop page where it said, what does Citroën feel like? And it said California cool is what Citroën could feel like, i.e. relaxed, optimistic, celebrating life. And we thought, what about the French Riviera? What's more relaxed, good vibes and chic and Citroën than the French Riviera? Like Saint-Tropez, for example, and that whole stretch of coast. So we're calling not California cool, but Côte d'Azur cool, and that sometimes frames our way of thinking in terms of communicating the Citroën product. Anyway, that's just an internal bit of comms that we use, but I thought you might be interested in that. All right, so moving on to the next slide, on the next video, is really the celebration of this Citroën differentiation that we're moving more towards. But it's actually the C3 video, which was the kind of first real example of this, and it's about being bold, being different, and a kind of celebration of color as well.
Colors. They fascinated us ever since we were kids. Colors fuel our individuality. They can stimulate our appetite or our desires. The presence inspires debate or even laughter. Always there when you least expect them. Colors drape the infinitely large and give life to the infinitely small. So why have they deserted our roads, our cities, our lives? At Citroën, we believe that color brings life to your life, and that everyone has a right to it. That's why we created new Citroën C3. With 97 customization combinations. And besides adding a dash of color to your life, new Citroën C3 also offers more comfort, making you feel right at home. Additional driving aids for improved safety, and more connectivity to make your life that much easier. With a mirror screen, good track. And the connected cam Citroën. New Citroën C3, because life is more beautiful in color. Citroën.
Okay, now you've seen the brands and the direction that they're taking. I'll pass you over to Alex de Villiers, the product manager, so you can see where the product's going to.
Yeah. Thank you, Noah. Good morning, everyone. Bonjour. As you can hear, I'm a Frenchman, so even more genuine for presenting you the new Peugeot and Citroën products. So let's start with Peugeot first. And I will show you a little introduction video from Linda Jackson, who is the brand CEO of Peugeot, and she will explain to you the brand vision and strategy for the next few years, and also the recent past results which are very interesting to know a little bit more about.
Sorry. Can you hear the sound?
No.
I'll just play it. Sorry, team. Not sure what it
Ladies
is.
and gentlemen, welcome to Peugeot. And for 3 years now, since the launch of the fully electric Peugeot E208, the Peugeot brand has been acting as an LEV pioneer for Stellantis and has taken on the role of frontrunner, providing electric mobility for demanding customers is already a reality at Peugeot, with 70% of all models in Europe available in an electrified version, from passenger cars to vans, not to mention Peugeot e-bikes and e-mopeds. Electrification is at the heart of our Power of Choice strategy. It means we are committed to offering the brand's customers the choice of powertrain that best suits their needs. Peugeot's full electric models have had great success. For the first 5 months of 2021, Peugeot is the second best-selling generalist brand in Europe for overall model sales and the third best generalist LEV brand. In Europe, our transition is intensifying. 85% of our models will be electrified by 2023, and this will be 100% by 2025. And internationally, we will use our strong EV model portfolio to stand out as an inventive, high-end, generalist brand in emerging EV car markets. And tomorrow, the dedicated BEV platform will bring new customer benefits, further enhancing the Peugeot pleasure of driving. Thank you. Well, ladies and
So as you can see, the Peugeot brand is very busy, very active on the European scene, but also in New Zealand. So what does it mean for us? I can tell you we're going to have a very, very busy product calendar and product launches over the next few months. So by the end of 2021, we'll be launching 2 new products, and quite important because it's going to be 2 fully electric models, so the very first model from Peugeot, and then up to 5 in 2022, including 3 fully electric cars and 2 plug-in hybrid cars. So a strong focus on low emission vehicles. Then in terms of product plans, so obviously this part is quite confidential, so don't take any picture of for the public. It's for you exclusively. So in terms of product plan for New Zealand, we have from March 2021 we launched the new 308 Hybrid 4. Then coming from September, so this month, so it's coming very, very soon, will be arriving next week actually. So the new E208, the first full electric SUV, then the E208, the full electric light car. So they will be arriving pretty much at the same time. Then early next year, the brand new 308 in petrol and plug-in hybrid version, followed by a bit later by the new 508 hybrid, so which is going to be a PHEV. And then the new e-Expert van, the full electric van, and a little bit later, the new e-Partner and Partner van, so petrol and electric, by the end of this year. So as you can see, a very busy product calendar. So now if we move briefly to the new 308 Hybrid 4, so just launched in New Zealand. So this is the very first plug-in hybrid Peugeot ever, and the most powerful at the moment. So you can drive fully electric up to 60 kilometers. So it's a very, very advanced technology. And also you have the convenience of the petrol engine at the same time. So this car is from 89,990, and it's already available at your local Peugeot dealership. If we move to the next slide, little video of the new 208 electric.
What will the car of the future look like?
It will have headlights that look like lion teeth.
Lion teeth? Will it fly?
Don't be silly, but it will have a 3D dashboard so you're aware of everything all the time.
Will it be electric?
Yes, with an engine that sounds just like this.
I don't hear anything.
Exactly.
What will the
So the new 208, 2020 European Car of the Year, so it's a very strong recognition for both petrol and electric versions of this car. And you can drive up to 350 kilometers in full electric mode. So it's like very, very different technology compared to like a petrol or even a plug-in hybrid. So I invite you to go to your dealership like from the next a few weeks to test drive and do your own opinion of this car, because it's a very, very nice product. So from 59,990, and it's eligible to the clean car rebate for EV. So very attractive proposition. And the main point of the Peugeot strategy is the power of choice. So you don't need to compromise on the actual features of the normal or the petrol 208. So you have the same 3D iCockpit, the same dashboard, same quality, same paints, same wheels, same design. So it's very, very much the same car, but just with a different and full electric engine. So you don't need to compromise on anything. And that's the Peugeot strategy in terms of product lineup. So now if we move to the E2008, little introduction video.
What the future holds.
So same like E28. So the E2008 is using the same electric powertrain, and you can drive up to 332 kilometers in full electric mode again. So it's a very appealing proposition in the new EV market, or the booming EV market at the moment. So from 69,990, and it's also eligible to the clean car rebate for electric cars, and it's available as the E28 at your dealership from the next few weeks. So it's the most appealing premium small SUV. So same as E28, you don't need to compromise on the petrol 2008 features. So meaning you still have the 3D cockpit, this Alcantara trim, and this amazing design inside and outside. And it's even more striking using the full electric engine, because it's even more futuristic in terms of driving experience for the driver, but also for the passengers. So it's a very unique proposition on the market. So now if we move to the next slide, which is, I'll let you guess. So this is obviously the new 308, the new face of Peugeot. So why the new face? Because it's going to be the first Peugeot to have this new lion logo. So it's a very important message sent to customers and to the market. And also a new face because it's going to be bringing new technologies, the next generation of iCockpit. As you can see on the video, you've got like digital buttons. So it's another step forward in terms of iCockpit, in terms of ergonomics, and in terms of technology in general. So for New Zealand, this car will be available in both petrol and plug-in hybrid version, and the plug-in will be eligible to the clean car rebate for PHEV, and this car will be arriving here early 2022. So I invite you to stay in touch with your local dealers to book your first test drives. And I'll show you a quick video now of this next generation of iCockpit. You will see it's quite an amazing revolution. Exciting car, can't wait. Then if we move to 508 hybrid, so this car is under discussion with the factory, but we are aiming at bringing this car by end of next year. So it's going to be the 508 in plug-in hybrid version, so using same technology as the 308 or the 308. So we'll let you know a bit more by next year, this car. Then the e-expert van, so the full electric vans, it's also under this good discussion with the factory. So we're aiming at bringing this van by end of this next year as well. And it's going to be the full electric van, and you can drive up to 330, around 330 kilometers. So perfect for city driving and urban conditions. And then to finish, the e-partner and partner vans. So in both petrol and electric, and same in terms of calendar, we are aiming at bringing those vans by late 2022. And just a little final note for you, because you've seen maybe this car probably from Europe. So the 508 Peugeot Sport Engineer, so the PSE. So that's a new, just to give you a little idea of the Peugeot strategy. So also bringing new performance cars now, meaning powerful, fast cars, but also using the best of the modern technology in terms of electrification. So this car is not confirmed for New Zealand, and don't be too excited. But yeah, we'll confirm that or not by next year. But a very nice product. If you can travel to Europe, you will see a very nice evolution as well. So now let's move on to Citroën. So Citroën, in terms of news, so we'll be launching one new model by end of this year. So the new C4, arriving actually this month, and 4 by 2022. So including the first EV and PHEV Citroëns. So a very important piece of news for the brand in New Zealand. So in terms of product calendar, as Peugeot, please don't take any screenshot or picture. It's just for you. It's internal. It's confidential. So the first to arrive is going to be, as I said, the new C4 this month. Then a bit later, January 2022, the C3 Cross facelift. So brand new face, new trims and colors. You will see. And then a bit later in 2022, the first full electric Citroën, so the new EC4. And then a bit later, the C5 Aircross PHEV, and also the facelift model, which is going to be revealed around February next year. So if we move to the new C4, little video.
Oh la la. Oh la 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 la.
Discover new Citroën C4, the very best comfort and technology finally united.
So new C4 has a neo crossover by Citroën, meaning, as you can see, it's a mix of hatchback, SUV. So it's a very unique car. It's a Citroën, and I'm sure the members of the car club noticed a little tribute to the old models from like the GS, for example. So it's always related to Citroën past history to build the future. So it's quite an interesting approach in terms of design and new features on the new models. So if we move to the next slide, you can see Citroën will be introducing brand new technologies also for the brand. And the main point of this car are design customization as all the Citroën technology. And you will see you will have one model, so the 155 horsepower petrol engine, and it's going to be from 39.90. It's a special launch price, and I invite you to get in touch with your local Citroën dealers in the next few weeks, because this car is arriving as well this month. And an important point, obviously, for Citroën is the comfort. So the new C4 will have the Citroën Advanced Comfort Program, meaning it's going to be the most comfortable crossover in the segment. So by comfort program, we mean progressive hydraulic cushions, like on the C5 Aircross, but also advanced comfort seats, like the rest of the Citroën range, so meaning extra layer of foam, and also passenger focus, meaning smart storage compartments, and like little interesting innovation at the Citroën Smart pad support. It's going to be for bringing your tablets for the passenger on board, so it's going to be quite interesting. And also the best roominess in terms of interior space and also boot space. So if we move now to the C3 Across facelift, a little video as well.
Discover new Citroën C3 Across SUV.
So yeah, welcome freedom, hello sunshine. So it's going to be very Citroën oriented as well in terms of marketing, but also products. So as you can see on this slide, what's going to be new on this car? The brand new front face with the new Citroën light signature, new headlight system, new paints, new trims, new wheels. Yeah, just a modernized C3 Across, and even more comfortable, because on this car now you're gonna have the advanced comfort seats, so an extra good point for Citroën Comfort. It's going to be arriving early 2022 January at the moment. And a bit later, the new EC4, so it's going to be the full electric version of the brand new C4, and you will be able to drive up to 350 kilometers in full electric mode by end of next year. So if we move now to the last Citroën product, the C5 Across Hybrid, so it's under discussion with the factory, but we have good hope to bring this car by mid next year. And it's going to be a plug-in hybrid C5, so it's going to be top of the range and the Citroën flagship at the same time. And you will be able to drive in full electric mode up to 55 kilometers, and also to use a petrol engine for more convenience and longer journeys, because this car is also made for long journeys and comfortable journeys, like a comfort class SUV. And maybe for the most Citroën lovers, I would say, or enthusiasts, the C5X. So this is the last Citroën product recently revealed by the brand. So this car is under consideration for New Zealand. It's a very specific product, so nothing is confirmed at that stage. And you should know more by next year about this specific model. And let's move on to Arek now.
Thank you, Alex. All the products, both from Peugeot and Citroën, are very exciting. And we definitely taking advantage of what manufacturers in Europe are doing, and we bringing all the most recent technology to New Zealand. Now, what does it actually mean here locally for us? More cars or more new models that we're going to launch is also going to mean that we're going to sell more cars. That's at least the hope, and we do, as you can see, we're going to do our best to sell as many of them as possible. But the focus for us will be to not only sell a lot of our cars and have a great brand presence on the road, but also to have clean cars. And we believe that with the technology we have available, Peugeot and Citroën will be top 3 brands, cleanest European brands by end of next year. So what does that mean? I prepared a little graph here, and the top line says where the market is. The green on the graph means Citroën average CO2 emission. The blue means Peugeot average CO2 emission. So you can see that we've been below the industry average. Our car's been always clean. We've been always focusing on bringing clean engines. And what actually that means that, for example, Citroën has been either number 1 or number 2 most cleanest brand, European brand in New Zealand. We're going to try to continue that trend. On Peugeot, the clean trend is going to accelerate due to the more electric and zero CO2 emission cars coming in. And as you can see, will be most likely, that's where we're aiming, that's what we want to do. We're going to be the top 4, we'll have 2 brands as top 3 cleanest European brands in New Zealand. And I think it's going to be very exciting to be part of that change, that innovation. So I hope that you guys are going to be able to be with us on that journey. Now, I want to show you the video that basically says, how could we live without EVs before?
I think the sound's off, Eric.
Not sure if I can fix it. Sorry, I don't think I can fix the sound. But
I might be able to play it from here, actually. Shall I try?
How do you recognize innovative technology? By its responsiveness? Its performance? The sensations it arouses? Its boldness? If you really want to know, there's only one question to ask.
How did we ever manage before?
Come and discover Peugeot's latest innovative technology.
Okay, and we're back.
So we're back to streaming now, Noah?
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Sorry, team. It's a new tech for us, still learning. Now, when we have so much of a new product coming in, we also wanted to make sure that our brands gonna be represented across the country accordingly. So what that means, we opened some new Peugeot shops around the country for this year. For Citroën, and 2 of them. We are working to update the map because those dealerships joined us recently. But basically what we're trying to achieve is to have a full representation across the country where we can buy Peugeot and Citroën and service the Peugeot and Citroën, because this is also very important. But today, we wouldn't be without the team from Armstrong Auckland. They organize, they helped to organize this meeting, and I want to pass to Lucas to just say how his new dealership is coming up.
Hi everyone. First of all, I'd like to I'd like to say thank you to ADNZ for all the content in that live stream. I definitely enjoyed it, and I'm sure everyone else that hopped on did as well. And I knew it was a little bit of time and effort that went into that one. So thank you guys very much for all your help there. So what you guys actually see in front of you is a front view of basically the new flagship dealership for both Peugeot and Citroën in Green Lane. We are still currently under a little bit of renovation. However, we actually plan to have everything finished by the end of October. And it's actually around that date where we will then launch the flagship for Peugeot and Citroën in New Zealand, and we'll invite everyone down for that as well. But basically, the new dealership is a huge floor space for vehicles actually inside. There's a separate showroom off to the right-hand side there. There's a full state-of-the-art entertainment area with a car lift that goes up to a second story, and a state-of-the-art service centre. So pretty cool what's happening there in Green Lane, and amazing for me, and also amazing for both the brands. And then lastly, obviously, there's a couple of contact details there down the bottom, and we've got some very, very cool and exciting product, and a few of those new models are actually arriving at port this month. So we will have an E208 in the showroom. We'll have the new Citroën C4, and a couple of the other ones as well. So certainly worth getting in touch with us if you have any questions, or there's any interest in any of those new models. Thanks everyone for also joining the live stream. I know it's a little bit of time out of your Saturday, but we from our side, we hope you enjoyed.
Thank you very much, Lucas. Now we will move to the Q&A session. I saw that you guys posted some comments down below the video, which is great, and I see that Lucas was helping moderating it. Thank you, Lucas. Just to answer to Brent, yes, the brands are investigating the hydrogen technology, but all the clean energy as well. The first hydrogen product that's going to be revealed, I think next year, towards the end of next year in Europe, will be expert van, just simply because it's a commercial product, and due to the limited amount of hydrogen stations, that's something they want to test out over there. What that doesn't mean for New Zealand, I don't want to make any commitments, but I can say that anything that is new from the EV technology, it's definitely on our radar.
Yeah. What I found really interesting about this topic as well, Eric, is I read a press release last week from Toyota saying that they were pledging $13.5 billion for battery electric vehicle R&D over the next 10 years. And Toyota are a leading car manufacturer globally. But Stellantis's pledge is similar, but it's double the amount. It's more than double the amount. It's 30 billion euros, which I believe is about $35 billion US dollars in BEV R&D. So I think really watch this space in terms of new battery electric vehicles and hybrid vehicles, because Stellantis have huge ambitions, as you can see by the amount, just the sheer amount of R&D expenditure there. And they may not have come first. Obviously, we know brands that have come first in electric, Tesla and VW's ID range, but they're coming at a point where they may just be best. They've kind of utilized the time to research good technology, and they're coming in to enter this space with a lot of investment at the right time. So I think that's really interesting, that difference in R&D spend. For me, that really shows how much of a commitment they're putting in this area, and to expect some fantastic product too.
That's very true. Thank you, Noah. I don't see any more questions coming up, and we also, I will be wrapping up now. I would say it's been a great hour at the moment. So
we have got one more question.
Oh, we have one more question. With the multiple colors and configurations available for certain models, what is the typical order lead time for a custom version of, say, a Citroen C3? Richard?
I could probably answer that one.
Thank you, Lucas.
So a lot of the time, what we actually do as dealerships is we try and kind of order based off some historic data. What that actually allows us to do is order our own color combinations, and a lot of the time, because there's a big network of dealers and everybody's ordering these cars, a lot of the time we can actually match your order or your combination to a car that's actually coming in. Now, that may mean that we may be able to actually deliver that car straight away. It may mean that it's 30 days. If it is a complete customization and we have nothing kind of coming through, then it can take kind of 4 months or more to actually come from the factory. But it is extremely rare that we do have to place factory order for customization of customers' cars, because most of the time we have one that matches on order already.
Thank you, Lucas. I see some comments from Chris Butler. Hey, thank you, Chris, for all the comments and the activity on the chat today. If you have any more feedback, please provide it to Armstrong team, and with next sessions that they're gonna coming up, we'll do some adjustments, but we'll figure out as well how often we're gonna do those kind of sessions. In terms of the new cockpit, I think the new 308 it represents a new direction of the cockpit, and once the car is gonna land on the ground, I think it would be great to come to the dealership and experience the car yourself due to the digital, for example, eye toggles. I think it's very cool, and at the time we can present and answer any technical questions.
Can see another great question there about talk more about the commitment from France to top up the number in New Zealand as a result of the rebate. I think this might refer to an article that was in Driven potentially recently, around ADNZ having a new status with the factory because of the clean car standard being announced by the government, and Eric might want to talk about this more as well, but I mean, at a basic level, that's entirely correct. France and the factory are really excited about the direction New Zealand's heading in with the clean car standard. It's a strong commitment from the government to move the needle in this direction, and it's a strong consumer driver as well. Money talks in terms of fees and rebates, and really fees and rebates were the catalysts for Europe and the change in consumer demand in that Europe's seen. Low emission vehicles and EVs have grown in popularity in Europe by a huge amount, now represent over 16% of the total market, and this was driven by the same kind of fees and rebates and similar discount schemes. So they've seen that happening, and they're thinking New Zealand is going to be taking a similar trajectory. and that's meant the ideas of the amount of volume that we can achieve have increased. So I'm not sure if that adds to the the overall kind of perspective of how they have of producing volume for New Zealand. But as far as we've been told, it definitely does. So we do expect an increase there. But Eric, would you be able to add to that?
Yeah, just briefly, I think you covered up very well, Noah. What I can add to it is that you saw our strategy on decreasing the CO2 emission, and that relates to the proposed changes by the government. Definitely, Stellantis, Peugeot, Citroën, France, they hear the news. We keep updating them what is happening here in New Zealand, and they're full across of it. And they definitely stand behind the change. What I can tell you guys, for example, that from next year, once the new regulations are up, none of our Peugeot or Citroën product will be penalized for the high CO2, meaning we'll be either giving a rebate for our cars, or the car will stay in a neutral zone. We'll do our best to have as many cars as possible in the rebate zone, meaning lower CO2 emissions. That's something we're planning for next year. And from the volume perspective, I think it's a great question, because what happened this year, we're on track to double the volume from 2020. And next year we want to double the volume again. Not sure how many times you've heard brands, products, it's trying to double on what they already have done in the previous year. So it's a lot of that is going to be a lot of work to be done from all of us. But that's the direction we are aiming to, and those plans were shared with France, and they stand behind us. Just waiting for some other questions or any specific comments, guys. If you don't have anything more, then I think we can start wrapping it up, this Q&A session. So I want to say thank you to the whole team that helped us to prepare the presentation today, and thank you, and merci Citroën.
Thanks a lot for tuning in. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.